Today, I'm going to teach you about light. It's a pretty big deal. But why? Let's think about how light impacts our life. Well, first, where do we see light? The sun tells us it's time to wake up every morning. The sun also provides solar energy, which can be transformed into electricity and heat. Then, when it gets dark at night, we turn on our lights. We'd be living in the dark if we didn't have lights. And we see the stars in the sky. That light has been traveling for thousands of years to reach us. What about lightning? Lightning is huge amounts of energy being released as light and heat. So, where does all of this light come from? First, let's talk about natural sources of light. The sun is our major source of natural light, but there are also animals that produce light through chemical reactions. The fancy word for this is bioluminescence. An animal that does this is the anglerfish. Although this picture is from Finding Nemo, anglerfish are a real thing. Next, let's talk about artificial or man-made light. Artificial is another word for fake. Where does that light come from? Matter gives off energy in the form of light rays. This happens by heating something up until it produces light, like lighting the wick of a candle, or by running an electric current through an object like a light bulb. How does light travel? Light travels fast. The sources of light that we just talked about create a lot of energy, but you can only see some of it. On the electromagnetic spectrum, the only light we see is called visible light. Let's look at this diagram and see what else we notice. You can see there are short waves called X-rays, like when they take a picture of your bones. There are medium-sized waves right in the middle. That's the visible light. And there are long waves called microwaves. That's what you use to cook food in your microwave. I know you haven't learned about all of this in 4th grade, so please don't worry. I'm telling you about the electromagnetic spectrum just for fun. So, can light travel through things? Of course. We see light traveling through our windows, right? Light likes to travel in a straight line, but when it hits an object, it might change direction. Let's talk about what that looks like. Light can absorb or reflect. What's the difference? To absorb light means to take it in, like when you wear a black shirt on a hot sunny day and your shirt takes in all of that light, making you feel hot and sweaty. If you wear a white shirt instead, the light will reflect or bounce off of your shirt, and you won't feel so hot because the light isn't being absorbed. Now, what does it mean for light to refract? Light travels through different materials at different speeds, and the light bends when it passes from one transparent material to another. Like this glass of water with a straw in it. The light is bending, not the straw. I mentioned the word transparent. What does it mean if something is transparent? A transparent material allows all light to pass through it, so it's see-through, like this plastic wrap. What does it mean if something is translucent? A translucent material allows some light to pass through it, so it's just kind of see-through, like this wax paper. What does it mean if something is opaque? If a material is opaque, no light passes through it, and it's not see-through at all. Like this cardstock, which is really heavy paper. Now, there's one more thing that makes light special: solar energy. Solar energy is energy that comes from the sun. When the sun shines on those solar panels, they absorb the energy and turn it into electricity and heat. So, what's the big deal about light? We definitely can't live without it. We use natural and artificial forms of light every day. The light can be absorbed, like when you wear a black shirt in the sun. It can be reflected, like when you wear a white shirt in the sun. Or it can be refracted, like when light bends as it passes through a glass of water with a straw in it. Different types of materials allow the light to pass through it in different ways. Now, are you ready to show me what you've learned about light? Go check out this week's science assignment on Google Classroom.